his ultimate goal. Gotta call my team back at Old Knot Hole. It's Sonic and the Freedom Fighters. Sally the princess, one of a kind. Bunny always there to get you out of a bind. Rhoda the genius looking through the archives. And tails flying fast, got dreams sky high. Antoine's a jerk, it's Sonic and the Freedom Fighters.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Archie Sonic Digest. We're on our 5th episode, and boy do I have some great things to share with you. But first, let's introduce our very special guest. Coming all the way from the Broskies, Lime Jinjo, and Dylan. What's happening, boys?
Yo, I'm Matthew, Lime Jinjo.
I'm the other one, Dylan. Yeah, I'm here.
The other one. Fuck, man. Don't sell yourself so short. We're guests on This isn't our show, Dylan. We're guests on this show. You have to act like you're confident in yourself a little bit, man. Christ.
I'm the superior one, I mean, yeah.
Okay,
actually.
man.
Ooh.
Man.
Ooh.
Well, you wanted more confidence, man.
Don't get me started on this fuck shit, man. We're here to talk about Sonic comics.
Exactly. We gotta get in the mood. So, we'll start off on Sonic the Hedgehog number 40, brought to us by Mike Gallagher writing, Dave Manak doing the art. Right off the heels of the last episode, if you remember, Sonic just got de-roboticized and immediately accused of treason. Very big bruh moment, if I do say so myself. So, Sonic, we see him in jail, and Antoine acting as the prison guard, just mocking him. And really just kicking the guy while he's down. Not hearing any of Sonic's pleas about how, like, dude, you don't understand. This is a misunderstanding. Like, it's not what you think, man. Antoine, being the fuckboy that he is, go like, oh. Just being like, I ain't hearing this shit, Sonic. Nuh-uh. And meanwhile, outside Sonic's jail cell, we hear good old Amy Rose, Sonic's biggest fan, protesting outside the jail, demanding that Sonic be released. She is with the shits. She knows our homeboy is innocent. Either that or she's simping.
Crab is unfair.
I think she's just a little horny, but fuck Antoine regardless.
I mean, yeah, she is a little horny.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's be real. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, come on.
I mean,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
man, Antoine must be so stupid. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog. The comic is called Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course, he's innocent. It's not called Antoine the whatever fuck he is. I don't care what he is. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog. God, man.
Fuck. So, while all these shenanigans are going on, Sally basically just tells Amy to go the fuck away and tells Sonic just like, hey, dude, you're gonna get your chance to fucking get in court, so just shut up and be ready for that by 9 a.m. tomorrow. At the same time, she and Rotor are basically doing the rebuilding efforts for Knothole on account of the fact that Mecha Sonic razed their entire village. It happens, you know. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, it gotta be like that sometimes.
So we skip to the next day. We see Sonic being brought to court by literal kangaroo judges. Like, the jokes here are less than subtle. That's just Mike Gallagher's style of writing. No hating on the guy, it's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, they say, essentially, if Sonic is found guilty of treason, he's banished. Which I guess, you know, for a kid's comic, the death penalty is a little too touchy. Where are we at? So, Antoine's acting as the prosecutor, of course, accuses Sonic of treason, and essentially, we just have, like, several scenes of Antoine badgering witnesses. At one point, one of them being a literal badger. It's very funny, I love it. And Sonic, when he's given his chance to defend himself, essentially turns the entire tables on Antoine by saying, hey, you're in charge of the prison here. One of your prisoners escaped, who, by the way, was Knack the Weasel, and he was the one that that knocked Sonic out and brought him to Robotnik to be roboticized in the first place. So really, this is all your fault, Antoine.
Is Knack the Weasel straight up evil in the comics? Because in, like, Triple Trouble, he's kind of middle ground, kind of anti-hero, but more evil than, like, Shadow. But, you know, still anti-hero.
Well, he's a bounty hunter and works for Robotnik, so that'll tell you what you need to know.
Yeah, so he's just straight up evil in this comic, it seems.
Yeah, he just does whatever he needs for money. So, at the end of the day, Sally, acting as, like, since she's the princess, she's acting as, like, the crown's, like, magistrate or whatever. and says, listen, Sonic, Antoine's not the one on fucking trial here, so can you actually make a case for yourself here? And says, like, all right, listen, give me 24 hours to prove my innocence, and I can actually do it. And she's like, all right, man, go ahead and do it. And they put, like, what's the word? Like an ankle bracelet monitor on him to make sure that he doesn't run away.
House arrest thing, yeah.
So Sonic runs off to, like, outskirts of Mobotropolis, or Robotropolis, and finds information on where Knack is. Eventually tracks him down, and after a little bit of a tussle, he drags his ass back to Knothole and says, here's this motherfucker who brought me to Robotnik. He's gonna testify to my fucking innocence after getting his ass kicked in a tavern. And that's the end of that comic. It's very much like a, what's the word? Like falling action of a story. They're just trying to give a little bit of closure to the last episode. Which will lead us right to Sonic number 41, written by our man Ken Penders. Let's give a round of applause. Round of applause for Ken Penders. Yeah!
Yeah! Woo!
We start off. Oh, I should also mention we have a new artist for Sonic 41 by the name of Kyle Hunter. He's a very dynamic art style. If you guys have ever heard of Patrick Spazatine, who's another writer for this comic, he has a very similar art style to him. So we start off with Sonic straight bungee jumping into Robotnik's base, kind of fucks his shit up a little bit inside his lab, and just goes back to Knothole. Really, he was just trying to mess Robotnik's day up, and mission accomplished. And ends up finding Sally back at Knothole with our homeboy, Jeffrey St. John. And, I forgot to mention, there's a little bit of a love triangle going on with Sally and Sonic and Jeffrey. It's a little contentious, which is very bad because Jeffrey is supposed to be like 19 and Sally is like 13.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Written by Ken Penders. Oh no.
Oh no. So, and also another thing I forgot to point out to you guys, at this point in the comic, they've rescued the king from his banishment in like an intermedial pocket dimension, but is also like fucked up. Like half of his body is now crystallized, and he is basically has dementia. Or not dementia, I just say like he's babbling. He doesn't really know who he is or where he is.
Amnesia?
Not amnesia, because he can't even talk. It's bad.
Oh, okay. So he's just like borderline vegetable state.
Borderline vegetable state. So, yeah, that's the situation there. They found the king inside the Zone of Silence, which is where the zone was. And, yeah, that was it. There was a little bit of a contentious situation here with Jeffrey and Sonic, because naturally, as the two people vying for the hand of the princess, they are just naturally bound to butt heads a little bit. It's sad. Why can't they just understand the principle of bros before hoes? You know what I'm saying, guys?
For real. That, or they can share, man. Sharing is caring.
Facts, man. Like, I mean, let's be real. It's the 90s. You know, that's not in the national zeitgeist yet. But, you know, with time just comes. Time will always come.
For real.
So, yeah, that's kind of just it. So they do eventually find the king, although at one point they're getting some visions inside the Zone of Silence as foreshadowing for a little story that we're gonna get to pretty quickly here. So they find the king, they bring him back into Knothole, and then he's like crystalline. So yeah, that's basically what happens in Sonic 41. Just a bunch of butting heads, and they rescue the king. And we've got something special now, because now we're getting into another miniseries titled Sonic Quest. 3-parter. Basically the story here is they're trying to deal with the king and his ailment, because like I said before, half crystallized and can't really communicate. So the deal is they want to try to find a solution to save the king. The first idea was that they find a Chaos Emerald, and Sonic decides to do something a little special. He grabs his 1 billionth ring, which actually did temporarily restore the king's consciousness, but it didn't really work that well. It was like a split-second thing. He recognized Sally, but was just immediately went back into his like vegetable state. So they just deduce that the power rings have the ability to probably restore the king. So they decide to split into 3 groups, the freedom fighters do. Antoine and Bunny are going to go search for the Great Lake of Rings in the forest to get a power ring. Sonic and Tails are going to go to a ring grotto that was near Robotropolis, where Sonic and Knuckles were fighting at in a previous story. And then Rotor and Sally are staying behind to make sure the king is still alive. And meanwhile, our homeboy Robotnik is leaving his second in command, his nephew Snively, in charge of the restoration of Robotropolis, while he goes off to deal with another project, which is actually foreshadowing for something coming up next episode, so keep that in mind.
No way.
Oh.
No way. So, Sonic and Tails go to the grotto, and they find it sealed off with this, dome of steel that they can't penetrate. Sonic goes off to deal with it, while Tails stays behind to keep watch. And then he sees the dome, open up, and a tube come down from the sky, which ends up with the tube sucking the air out of the lake with all the power rings, including Tails. It was a very strong vacuum suction. Sonic sees this and is like, oh, that's a bit of a problem. And Sonic is in the canyon. Sonic sees all this while he's off in a canyon somewhere else, and fights a friend of his who was roboticized. And Sonic is taken up by this flying roboticized, what's his name again? Carl Condor is his name. Yes, it's a very minor character. Don't worry about him, guys. So he was roboticized. He was taken up to the face ship, which is called the Death Egg.
Yo.
And it's quite literally just it's not the Death Egg from Sonic 3. It's not the same design. It's very much more like an egg. And here's actually something interesting that I pointed out. So you guys are aware of the fact that Robotnik and Eggman in this canon are technically 2 separate characters, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of egg motifs with Robotnik as a character, like the Death Egg. He still has his Eggmobile. It's just the writers, let me put it like this. Sega at the time was still being wishy-washy with a lot of their names and stuff like that. Robotnik was still being called Robotnik, but a lot of his robots still had the egg motif, like the Death Egg.
This was probably pre-Sonic Adventure 1, right?
Yes. This was, this comic, I believe, was in 1996, so yes.
Okay, yeah.
Sonic is now up in the Death Egg, and that's the end of Sonic Quest number 1. Number 2, we have Robotnik just showing off his Death Egg, all grandeur and the like, with his big boy plan here to use the Death Egg to roboticize the entire planet.
Holy shit.
Which is not the first time he's come up with that plan, by the way. So
Might be a pretty genius plan if you have to do it twice.
For real.
I think it was the 3rd time this has happened, actually.
Oh, shit. Come on, man.
It would surely work this time.
3rd time's the charm. So we now see Tails sifting his way through the top and finds a set of discarded SWAT-bot armor to disguise himself and move along. Very Metal Gear-like. And Sonic frees himself from from his captor and gets himself within the Death Egg. And Robotnik's next move here is the Death Egg is on a straight collision course with the floating island to crash it into the ocean and steal its Chaos Emerald that keeps it afloat, for really no reason other than to get it up into space. Knuckles obviously is fucking pissed over this, and calls his homeboys the Chaotix to help him out. Robotnik sends some 2 robots to fight them off. They take their time with it to fight him off, while Knuckles is trying to protect the Chaos Emeralds that are still on the floating island. Meanwhile, Sonic marches right into Robotnik's control room, like I mentioned before, finding the Death Egg on the collision course, and pushes them down on the floating island. The landmass ends up being tipped over, gravity's a little off now, and Knuckles was basically launched off the floating island. But it's alright, because remember, he can fly. So
yeah, that's that homie, he can fly.
And you want to know, they actually explained this in a previous comic, how Knuckles can fly. You want to hear about that?
Sure.
Turns out Knuckles traps air in his dreadlocks, and that keeps him afloat.
You know what? I figured the answer would be something like that. Because it makes sense in a way that it doesn't make sense at all, but like it makes sense by the laws of Sonic the Hedgehog. When you've been a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog for so long, it's kind of like I can predict the bullshit that's about to happen. But, like, how does, like, in Sonic Adventure 2's multiplayer, Chaos can fly, but he only has, like, 2 little baby dreadlocks, so they must just be powerful, I guess. I don't know, man.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't think about what's happening. Just accept it.
Just accept it. That's all it be. So that was the end of quest number 2. Final comic of this miniseries, number 3. We now got Sonic going straight up to attack the last SWAT-bot that was guarding Robotnik, only to find out that it was his homeboy Tails in disguise. Can we get an F in the chat for Tails?
What the
Oh
frick?
my god. No.
I can't believe it. The
No,
homie.
I don't know if I can go forward anymore.
So after that confusion, Sonic just tries to go straight for Robotnik, only for Sonic to hit some plexiglass, and then ends up getting poison gassed out.
Damn.
Yeah, in this comic canon, like, Robotnik is pretty fucking ruthless. Like, he's not afraid to go for the jugular. Even though, I should mention this about Robotnik's character, that, like, he is not afraid to, like, murder, but at the same time, he's also, like, does respect his enemies in a very weird way. Like, he could carpet bomb the Great Forest where Knothole is, because he doesn't know exactly where it is. But he could just carpet bomb them and, like, just call it a life. But he'd rather, like, keep himself entertained, I guess.
Yeah, so he's like evil, but he also has respect, but not like respect like in Sonic X Season 3, where he's like, I don't like the way you hurt Cosmo and Chris. Like, not like that.
Yeah, not like that. He doesn't have that, like, I don't know, the sense of... Well, he does have a sense of pride. It's more of like, you know, let's play this game right, you know?
Yeah. If you're gonna kill Sonic and all of his friends, you gotta do it fair. If you just carpet bomb them, it would be kind of boring. It would be like, well,
we could have done...
Now what?
Like, yeah, I could have done this the whole time, so it's like, it's boring. Let's have some fun, boys. So, Tails, still in his SWAT-bot shell, though, lunges at Robotnik and shoots at him with his SWAT-bot's still functioning blasters, but he misses and ends up shooting at the consoles, which frees Sonic, and also ends up launching the Death Egg into the stratosphere, but also frees him from the floating island, so we got like a 3-hit combo from that sense. Robotnik tries to recoup and talks to Sonic and Tails via the intercom, and unleashes a brand new robot on them that he calls Silver Sonic, which is basically the same robot from Sonic 2, although it's a lot bigger. Like, it's... I don't know, like, maybe like 3 times their size?
That boss is a pain in the ass, so I'm glad it's just the size of Sonic and Sonic 2, because, man...
So imagine the problem that they have to deal with right now.
God, man. They're probably
Pain.
dead. This was
Agony.
the end of the series, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is the last comic.
Oh my god, the last episode of the Sonic Archie Digest. Now we have to do the Fleetway Sonic Digest.
Oh, no. So, where are we at? So, obviously Sonic revs up and punches us out. Obviously it doesn't work. That thing is made of steel. He's knocked out, but pulls a wire out from under the hole that he was cratered into, and ends up electrocuting Silver Sonic, which short-circuits the computer. And Sonic's natural response is to climb into the now fried shell and now commandeer it like a mecha.
Damn.
Yo, Sonic became a mecha comic now? Wow.
Sonic got into the robot. Robotnik sees
Sonic,
all this.
Get in the robot.
He got in the robot. So Sonic sees all this, or Robotnik sees all this, and decides, yo, what the fuck? That's not fair. Gotta pull out Plan E, which then lets Robotnik suit the fuck up in a mecha suit, which he just calls the exoskeleton, which is linked to the Death Egg systems. Robotnik sees the now Sonic piloting Silver Sonic. First instinct of Sonic is to just crush Robotnik like a bug, but because of the exoskeleton suit, he can kind of hold his own for like a minute. But Tails mentions that he hacked into the Death Egg systems and rigged the thing to explode in 20 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah, Tails, in right now, at this point in the comic, Tails kind of is like a little bit of that child, but he does have that like smart thing that was going for him in the games.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, rigged it to explode, but he warned Sonic, like, yo, all the fighting you're doing with Robotnik right now is fucking up the systems real bad. Like, at this point, it could explode at any minute. Let's get the fuck out of here, man. So right as they're about to leave, they find a chamber that's filled with power rings that was stolen from the beginning of this miniseries. They grab a handful and launch themselves out. Sonic spin dashes his way out of the shell, and Tails slowly descends back to the ground right as the Death Egg explodes, which is seen all over Mobius. Literally the shot seen around the world. And Sonic and Tails head back into Knothole with the ring, saying like, yo, let's get this King Boy healed up, as Robotnik parachutes down into Robotropolis. And that's Sonic Quest, that little mini-series. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, do you really think that this little subset or sub-story was really worth a miniseries? Because I didn't really think so. This looks like it could have been in the main comic if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to split it off. That could have just been like the next 3 issues of the main series. I mean, it's following the story of the main series.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I know comic book industry is like a lot worse when it comes to like telling a contingent story. The Archie comics are generally better, but they still have bullshit like this. Like, whenever a miniseries comes about, it's usually focusing on another character. Like, there was a miniseries for Sally, Tails, and Knuckles before this. So to have one focused on Sonic just kind of seems redundant.
Yeah.
I mean, the comic is Sonic. Why do you have to make a miniseries on Sonic, man?
Exactly. Like, I get it if they're like, oh, we have this story that we really need to tell, but we don't have time to fit it in, like, the main issue, so can we get, like, a miniseries? Like, I can see that, and that would be understandable if that was the case, but, like, it's just weird without any of that context. Again, if that is the case.
Yeah, and I mean, this is canon, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
So in the next, like, main comic, the king is probably healed because of Sonic Quest.
We'll get to that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Uh-oh.
We now go Sonic number 42 with written by Kent Taylor, art by Art Mawhinney. So we open at the floating island. Sonic and Knuckles are having a little bit of tussle, with Sonic demanding that Knuckles give him the extra Chaos Emerald that he got a while ago. With Knuckles is just like, dude, fuck off. You're on my land. You have no right to demand anything of me.
But I'm the main character!
I'm the main character! Sonic explains to Knuckles, which he didn't fucking do in the first place. He just basically came onto the floating island and was like, yo, Knuckles, give me that Chaos Emerald, homie. He eventually explains, it's like, listen, man, we rescued the king, but he's in a weird state, and we think having a Chaos Emerald can help. And Knuckles is like, look, you should have said that in the first place, but I can't give you the extra emerald. I need that for the island. And even though Knuckles, he states that he has fond memories of the king growing up, and he does seem genuinely upset that he doesn't want to help, or he is unable to help in his words. So Sonic and Tails go back to Knothole with their tails between their legs, basically saying like, yeah, we couldn't do it, but hey, we have the power ring, so let's cross our fingers on that one. So we now skip to Sonic, Tails, and Sally having a little bit of a lunch break when Sonic's Uncle Chuck comes in and says that the power rings didn't really do anything, but maybe, just maybe, that the Acorn family's crown, which has some magical properties that they don't really explain, can probably help. Sonic says that they never recovered the crown after Robotnik took over, so, like, why are you bringing this up, man? Sally believes that the crown that the king was wearing at the time that he was disposed actually was a fake. And she believes this on account of the fact that she has a scroll which claims that the crown is able to be magically swapped out under these circumstances and is like in a pocket dimension called the Hall of Limbo. How they get to that, though, they really have no clue. So they end up going to the Lake of Rings to get another power ring because Sonic mentions that on account of the fact that he can get a boost from power rings and power, he can also use rings to gain knowledge. Which I have to ask, is that not the most convenient mulligan in the history of anything ever written?
How is Sonic not like the smartest man alive? He's collected 1 billion rings at this point.
Oh, he says he just doesn't like to use that like that.
What? Man, give him a couple until he realizes it's a good idea to use them like that. So he can be big brain.
And you know
He'll
what?
just become a god at 1 billion? He's a new god of the world.
For real, if you reach like an IQ of 10,000, you could probably be like borderline a god.
Oh no, absolutely. But the thing is that like, another thing that has happened. This has never been like explicitly confirmed, even in the future comics. But the way it seems like it to me, it really only seems like Sonic is the only one capable of using the power rings in the way that they can.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Sonic can just come out and say, oh yeah, I can use them for knowledge, I just don't like doing it because it makes my head hurt.
Well, then use more of them! Eventually your head will stop hurting. Man!
Your head isn't gonna hurt after you used 1 billion of them.
Come on, man.
At the same time, though, while they're going to the Lake of Rings, they are intercepted by one of the members of the Freedom Fighters from their spy division, who goes by the name of Sleuth Dog. And look, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Like he's a double agent. He had a horde of SWAT bots attack the lake after he was brought there. And by the way, this is not the first time this character came up. So like he was in a couple comics previously, and actually does become a recurring character, or a recurring villain, I should say, in future comics.
Mm-hmm.
While they're being attacked, Bunny then comes in to help, just as a ring pops out of the lake, and Knuckles ends up swooping in, carrying the extra Chaos Emerald because he felt guilty. And he attacks a robot that was about to attack Sonic right as he was grabbing that ring that popped out. So, Knuckles loans him the Chaos Emerald, and they all go back to Knothole. Rotor then hooks up the Chaos Emerald to a machine that's hooked up to the King, and they flip it on, and the crystallization ends up getting a lot worse. But it's alright, it's only temporary though. It's only temporary.
Alright, I was gonna say, all that, and this man just becomes a piece of rock candy. Fuck.
And, also something that I should point out, the crystallization that the King is under is like it's an emerald green. He looks like basically like a Chaos Emerald. Keep that in mind for this next bit. So, Sonic ends up using that ring that he got for knowledge. Finally,
man!
And ends up deducing that the crown, they don't know where the crown is, but they can find it if they find the Sword of Acorns, which has magical properties that connects it to the crown. Problem is, the ring didn't tell Sonic where the sword was. So, Knuckles then actually volunteers to find the sword, which is a very uncharacteristic thing for him to do at this point in the comic. Knuckles is very much like a, yo man, like, if it's not on my island, like, I don't give a fuck. I legit don't care about your problems. So for him to just come out and say, like, no, you got a problem, you need to find this sword, gotcha, man, I'm your boy.
I think at that point he probably just felt guilty about the King or something. Because right now I'm assuming he's kind of like in the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 mindset, where in both those games, he really does not give a fuck unless the Master Emerald is in danger.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, he probably just felt bad about the King or something. Or the writers got lazy and they were like, oh, no, well actually now Knuckles he's going to do something.
Now Knuckles shall do something. Although,
so who knows?
When you're talking about the comics, if something stupid's going on, it's usually about Knuckles. That's kind of the deal here, unfortunately. So, with Knuckles volunteering to find the sword, that leads us right into the back cover story that was written by Ken Penders, assisted by Kent Taylor, and with art by Art Mawhinney. So, we start off with Knuckles with Tails being driven in his submarine. By the way, Tails has the submarine from Tails' Adventure, I believe. That's what it's about. Yeah, it's very, very cute. Knuckles is in tow, and Knuckles is intending to ask a group of people called the Ancient Walkers for help, which, for you guys, they're basically three of the first Mobians to exist, and also have immortality.
So they're kind of like omnipotent
A little
to an
bit.
extent.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
So Tails noticed that they really only ever seem to show up when something big happens. Like, quote, when Sonic got his billionth ring, or when you thought you went to Echidna Heaven.
What?
I'm not even gonna give you context for that. That's just funny.
Don't even bother, man. Because fucking, I'm having a lot of fun with this, but like, these comics are fucking crazy, just weird shit, man. Like the fucking video games, it's like, oh, there's a water blob. Oh, there's a hedgehog that looks like Sonic. Oh, Metal Sonic. Ooh, all these very simple stories. Then the Archie comics are like, oh man, crown, sword, omnipotent alien dudes. Oh, ring fountain.
Oh, and I also pointed out in my notes, remember, this is not the first time Christian concepts show up in this comic. Tails ends up taking Knuckles to the continent of... Oh, great. The continent of Down Under. That's actually... Down Under. That's actually what it's called. I'm not putting on an accent.
Australia.
It is Australia.
It's just straight up Australia?
It is straight up Australia.
Bruh.
It's called Down Under. It's literally spelled Downunda. I'm not putting on an accent.
Come on, man. This was written by Ken Penders?
What was this? No, it was written by Kent Taylor. But he tends to like have a similar mindset to Ken Penders.
Yeah.
So, like,
I think everyone on this that worked on this comic is a couple screws loose up there, possibly.
Wait, I forgot to mention. This wasn't his. Kent Taylor was not the one who introduced the place of Down Under. That was actually Mike Gallagher. He was the one that wrote the Tales miniseries that introduced it.
I see.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Wow.
That's a great question.
Someone needs to make him atone for his sins.
When we learn that your actions have consequences.
Oh, trust me, he learns that his actions has consequences. Believe me, we'll get to that.
What happens? Oh no,
we'll get to that. I promise you. It might take a while, but we'll get to it. Tails is taking Knuckles to Down Under and brings him to Knuckles' great-grandfather, Athair, who lives in the crater where the floating island originally was before it left the ground.
That's a little cool.
It's a little cool. The context is very weird, though.
Yeah.
I should give you this context, though. So, Knuckles' ancestor, who was the first Guardian, is named Edmund. Just so you have this context. He was... So, when Knuckles sees Athair, he actually gets a little defensive around him because he claims that Athair is the only member of his family line to refuse to take up the mantle of being the Guardian of the Floating Island. And the reason why is just because, like, Athair's a big picture kind of guy. He's like, why would I bother guarding this floating rock when I could be, like, the overseer of the whole planet, man? You gotta think bigger, man. Knuckles is like, I don't want to fucking hear this. So, Athair yeets Knuckles and Tails into a hallucinatory trip and sends them to see the Ancient Walkers, who, in a bit of, like, a roundabout, riddle speak, basically just says that a Chaos Emerald can't cure the king. So they're like, fuck, now what? And they don't find out how to get the Sword of Acorns, but they do know the people who can take them there. And after Knuckles finds that out, he basically leaves Tails behind, is like, alright buddy, thanks for getting me here, but gotta go on my own right now. And that's the end of number 42. These comics tell a lot of stories with a lot of little time. And I do appreciate that, even if it is a bit of a headache to explain.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I mean, it's not bad. It's fun. It's funny. It's crazy. I wouldn't say it's like high art, but it is fun.
Yeah.
It's fun how crazy it is.
It really is. Like, I genuinely enjoy it. Speaking of madness, we got a little something special right now. Because the next comic we're covering is a comic called Sonic Live. Do you boys happen to be familiar with this comic?
No, but the name alone scares me.
Good. It should. I'm going to show you guys the cover of this comic. I'm just
Oh
going to...
no, I'm kind of scared.
You should be scared.
Oh no, I'm even more scared.
Oh,
What
I've
the
seen that.
frick
I've
is
seen that before. I've
Yeah.
seen this photo before.
Yeah, you should. So,
Oh God.
The kid has like the little kid looking in the TV. He'd seen a lot right there. Holy frick.
They're just kind of standing there, and Sonic's just like reaching out of the fucking screen, dude. Holy shit.
it's terrifying. Listen, if someone out there has that comic, I'm willing to pay you some good money for it. I'm not going to lie.
Is it a rare one?
I don't know if it's rare, but like I would kill to have that in my physical collection.
Imagine like a poster of just the cover of that on your wall.
I'm telling you, man, it's messed up. It's messed up.
That's just a fucking badass cover. You don't need words. You don't need words for this cover. I know the whole story of this comic based on the cover alone.
Just by looking at it, you are living in fear. So, we start off, who other would write this than our man Ken Penders?
Let's fucking go,
Yeah.
man. Hell yeah.
Oh, and also he did the art. He's also an artist.
No wonder it's terrifying. Let's fucking go.
Oh, my first note for this comic just says pain. I think that's a very apt statement.
Yeah.
Agony.
So, we start off with Robotnik taunting Sonic. Sonic's in his base. He's just taunting him by having Sally captive brainwashed. So, Sonic is surrounded by SWAT bots and is then blasted at and killed. Sonic's fucking dead, boys.
God motherfucking damn, dude. Why is it called Sonic Live? He's no longer alive, bro. He's
not
dead
alive.
as fuck.
Man, what the frick? They can't just do that.
Damn.
Oh, man.
This is like the very beginning of the comic. This buddy dead.
This is
How
page
dare-
number 2.
How is buddy gonna pop out of the TV and say hi to the real world kids? I was expecting some like fucking Garfield the movie type shit. For something like that. Garfield Gets Real. There was some movie called Garfield Gets Real. I was expecting that, but Sonic.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Oh no.
Upon seeing Sonic's brutal murder, we then skip to a live-action segment of a kid playing a Sonic game says, "Oh man, I can't believe I died again."
No.
And wait,
What the
when
frick?
when I say a live-action segment, I literally mean that. Like, these are like
No!
actual photos of an actual kid playing...
Wow.
Not even playing a Sega Genesis. He was holding like a TV controller sideways, like a fucking like Genesis controller, saying, "Man, I can't
No.
believe I died."
They could have just even a Master System, a Game Gear, or something, man. How little was the budget for this?
Oh, I should say,
too.
so he says that his sister comes in and says like, "Hey, you can't keep mom waiting. We gotta go to school." And I made a note of this. These pictures are these kids, I should say, are Ken Penders' actual niece and nephew.
Man, the budget must have been tiny as fuck. They couldn't even get like real actors.
And also, I need to point out what I said about them using a TV controller. That's just because, get this, you guys are gonna love this. The fact that Ken Penders did not want video games in his house. Now, let's take a moment to step back and think about this, okay?
What?
Ken Penders is writing for a comic book series based off a video game character. Now, ask me this. Why does this man work on such a comic when he does not like the video game?
Even then, he could have just like rented one. Gone to a friend's house that had a Sega Genesis. Those things were popular back in the day. And what was this, like 1996, 1997?
Yep.
Even if you just wanted to buy one, it wouldn't have been like that expensive, you know?
Even
there was
if you
probably
just wanted
price
to-
drops at that point. There were so many options, and he picked the worst one.
Even if he wanted to just like... He really could have just like went to like a secondhand store and just bought a Genesis controller for a prop.
Yeah.
Like, this is unnecessary.
He didn't even have to buy a whole system. It could have just been a controller, you're right. He could have bought one of those shitty, like, third-party controllers that would break super easily. It doesn't even have to be an official Sega one.
The audio listeners won't see it, but Jinjo made like a very, very horrified face upon hearing that statement. Like he was so distraught over it.
Baffled by this man. He won't allow video games in his house, but it's okay to be horny on Twitter all the time.
Look, man. Those are the costs you pay to live your life.
God, what an odd man.
Yeah, so as the kids are going off to school, we now cut back to Sonic in like a weird green interspace and complains that he can't move. And meanwhile, Robotnik is gloating that he won and is like, "Yep, now I can conquer all of Mobius." Get Sally into a jail cell next to her freedom fighter friends. This is gonna be fun, boys. And the kids from earlier are coming back, and Sonic sees them from the monitor. He's basically behind their TV screen and is literally calling out to them, being like, "Hey guys, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog."
Hey, it's me, Goku. Let me in.
Goku, let me in. It's me. So Sonic calls out to them and basically reaches out for them and pulls them into the TV. No! Persona 4 ripped off Ken Penders.
Yo! The Midnight Channel? Holy shit!
Ken Penders, you should sue Atlas, man. They ripped you off.
For real, get that fucking Persona 4 Golden on Steam money.
Facts. So, Sonic leads the kids to a little small point in this mid-space where he thinks they can get back to Mobius. Meanwhile, Robotnik is just gloating over the freedom fighters and points them to his brand new missile system, which has two purposes. Number one, launch some satellites to roboticize the planet yet again, and also to launch the freedom fighters into space.
So what is that, like the fourth time he's gonna roboticize the entire planet? Man, just give up.
Maybe
pick something else.
I mean, I have hope this time.
Sonic is dead. There's no way he's coming back.
He can't come back.
There's no possible way, especially not with the help of two real-life children.
So right at that moment, Sonic and the kids warp in, and the kids are immediately kidnapped by SWAT bots. Like, next panel. Sonic fights them off one by one, and eventually the three of them find the control room. Sonic turns off the missile launching system right as Robotnik notices the portal that Sonic came out of and goes in with Snively. So now they're just minutes away from becoming real.
Uh-oh.
The portal that they entered is now slowly growing bigger and bigger and ends up sucking in Sonic and the kids into it, and they find Robotnik in this liminal zone, which is just a rock in space. And Robotnik ends up showing off his new plan, building a giant mecha of himself with several different alternate universe versions of himself. Which, I'm gonna say, yet again, not the first time Robotnik has done that.
Kind of reminiscent of Sonic Generations.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Ken Penders also should sue Sega again. Again. So, Sonic and the kids are thrown off into a cell, and there's also a bunch of, like, actual humans in that cell. I legit have no idea where they came from. They're just there. And all of these grown-ass men that are in this jail cell are like, "What the fuck? Sonic the Hedgehog? Like, you're a video game character in our world. Why the fuck are you real, bro?"
Sonic is real? No way.
Man, I wish for that every day. So,
for real.
So, they're eventually freed by someone else who is just like a woman in a Robotnik disguise. Again, no explanation for that is given. It's just there. Sonic is out. He fights off the SWAT bots, and it culminates in the kids finding they find a terminal, which is literally a giant Sega Genesis controller, and they use like a cheat code from one of the Sonic games to shut down the SWAT bots.
How Ken Penders know this? He hasn't played video games. Video games aren't allowed in his house.
That's a very good question. That's honestly a very good question.
Man, so, why did Sonic even need these two kids' help in the first place? Like, why did he pull them into the TV?
The question is, why are these kids even here to begin with? Like, I legitimately want to ask this. What's the point of this story? Because, is this even canon? I don't even know.
I feel like it shouldn't be.
You know what? Let's hold on. Let's put a pin in that question, because let's finish this comic up and get this migraine out of the way. So the SWAT bots are shut down. Then Sonic is then sent home and waves goodbye to his new friends. They part ways, go back to Mobius, and I just wrote all's well that ends well.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, my mental suffering. I mean, it's... Sure, man, ends well, sure. It's not all's well, but it is ends well, I suppose.
Yeah, it's something special, all right? God damn. And that's only the first story. We still got 2 more to go.
Whoa! There's more to this comic? You're kidding me.
Not much, though.
Oh, Dios mio.
So, story B is literally... I only have 1 note on it, and it's just like a group of Mobians rescuing freedom fighters from Robotnik, and as a thanks, Sally just dubs them like a separate team of the freedom fighters.
I'm surprised. When you said as a thanks, I knew this comic was written by Ken Penders, so I got kind of scared, but, you know.
That story wasn't written by Ken Penders, by the way. I should have said that.
Well, then that makes sense. Thank God.
Yeah, the writing and the art was done by Rich Koslowski, who did a story previously, so.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a very good story about Bunny. It was actually very endearing. We now cover to the final story, written by Kent Taylor and with art by our man Patrick Spazatine. We see Knuckles continuing his search for the Sword of Acorns and finds himself on the edge of the Great Forest and finds like a little hut. But before he enters, he is attacked by something that he calls a Devil Watcher. Which he points out, like, what the fuck is this thing? That this is a myth. This shouldn't exist. Why am I fighting this? Knuckles goes into the cottage nearby, but is then attacked by even more mythical monsters. Until Knuckles realizes something that, hey, wait a minute. These are illusions. These things are not real. They are literally, like, children's figments of imaginations.
He's fighting a magician. That's it. He's fighting a magician.
So Knuckles calls out to the figure in this comic and introduces himself as the king's former court wizard. Jinjo, my man, you called it.
Yo! I'm a genius. What can I say?
So he explains to Knuckles, look, man, I don't know where the sword is, but I think I know someone who does. And they're in the land of the dark. That's all the context he's got. He sends Knuckles off and says that, hey, if you see the king again, tell him Merlin Prower wishes him well. If you can't connect the dots, that's Tails' uncle.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, he becomes a little prevalent in the future. And that's the end of Sonic Alive. Congratulations, we made through that headache.
We made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo, woo!
What good fun.
That was probably one of the most infamous comics I've covered at this point, and just like Ken Penders' stuff, it's a lot more hyped up than the reality of the situation really was. Like, that was a dumb story about, like, real kids in real life, like, being themselves with Sonic the Hedgehog and being friends, but, like, the end of it just falls flat. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, that is a very common theme with Ken Penders' writing. It's a grandiose concept that is honestly kind of stupid at times, but when you get to the conclusion of it all, it just kind of falls flat.
I feel like it couldn't even live up to the cover of the comic itself.
No.
The cover is too cool for the rest of the story.
We'll move on to Sonic the Hedgehog number 43. Written by, yet again, our man Ken Penders, with art done by Patrick Spazatine. So we got a very killer combo here. We're introduced to a new character by the name of Dr. Quack, who is Knothall's resident doctor, and yes, the joke exists for a reason.
Uh-oh.
Sonic even points it out in universe. Is like, yo, does this guy live up to his name? Because if so, like, man, maybe we should find someone else, man. I don't know. So Sonic and Sally follow him in a rush, and they find the king. The crystallization is getting much worse. Basically, his entire body, except for the left side of his head, is now covered in crystallization. So the doctor tries an experimental device that Rotor built. By the way, Rotor is like 13, 14, like the rest of them. So the fact that this man with a medical degree just sees the thing that a kid built is like, yeah, let's use that. I don't know, man. Maybe we should get his credentials looked at again. Just saying.
Nah, it's fine.
Right, fine.
It's fine, I guess. The intent of the device was for to have regenerative rays be shot at the king in the hopes that his skin will just heal itself. It doesn't work, but the doctor is like, hold on, let's calm down a second. Maybe it has some long-term effects, let's just keep it monitored. At that minute, we then go to a flashback to Sonic and Sally as kids before Robotnik took over. Like, right before. The king steps in and shoos them away, and ends up right behind him, speaking with Robotnik, who's referred to as Julian, his warlord, quickly appointing him as the Minister of Science. And the king also approved Julian's plan to immediately dismantle the military since the war is over. Now, I want to stop you right there. I have a degree in political science, okay? But you don't need that to know dismantling a military is not a good idea, no matter the circumstance.
Right after a war?
Right after. Like, if I was in any position of power and an advisor of mine says, like, hey, dude, you know what would be pretty based? Like, dismantling the military. I think, what the fuck Yo, guards, this guy's gonna he's gonna throw us over. Like, he's plotting some shit. And guess what?
His name is Julian, dude. Come on.
Exactly. And guess what Julian does? He immediately coups him. Immediately.
God. Dude.
Like, I'm saying, man, the king, like, maybe you don't deserve to be king. Like, I don't know.
He deserves becoming a fucking Chaos Emerald like he is right now at this point.
Yikes. I mean, maybe, but like, damn. So,
I'm sorry, that was a little too mean to this
vegetable
comic book king. This vegetable, damn. Okay, well, you're right. It was a little mean.
So, immediately Julian coups the king, and the king is like, "Yo, homeboy, Julian, what the fuck are you think you're doing?" And he's like, "Don't call me that, homie. Call me my proper title, Ivo Robotnik." And before throwing him away into the zone of silence, shows him, number one, the zone of silence where he's about to be sent, and in like one act of like, not mercy, he's just kind of taunting at him. He shows the king his quote discovery, and I'm pointing this out because it's actually pretty important. The roboticizer declares the king his enemy and is then thrown away into the zone. And says, be sure to give Ixis, the roboticizer's inventor, and Kodos, the former warlord, my regards. And is thrown into the zone of silence. Now, think on this for a second. He does mention that he discovered the roboticizer, not invent it. And even then, he doesn't have all the correct information. Let's put it like that. We're going to get into that very fast, very soon, and you're going to be surprised by the answer. So, we then immediately flash forward to the king in the hospital, just basically screaming at the top of his lungs. This is the first sign of life that they've, like, ever gotten from him.
Damn.
They're all startled, as anyone naturally would be, and the doctor's like, chill the fuck out. He's having a nightmare. Just relax. His response, the doctor, pulls out a device, which he calls the Dream Watcher, and says, one way to pull the king out from his stasis will be to go into his dream and basically slap him around a little bit and pull him into reality. Everyone volunteers to go in, but Sonic is the one that sticks out, and he goes into the king's dream.
He's the main character. The comic's named after him, of course.
Of course. Like, what is this? Jeffrey St. John? No, fuck out of here.
Nope.
We now then are seeing the king in his dream, immediately basically taking up right where the flashback left off. He's in the zone of silence. And Sonic just, like, pops right in out of thin air and is like, hey, yo, king, homeboy, like, chill out. Like, this is all a dream. You're not really in any danger. Just relax. Right then, Kodos pops up, who, like I mentioned before, was the king's warlord before Robotnik, and immediately attacks them. Just goes right for the jugular. Sonic does try to save the king, but is shot in the back with eye lasers by a demigod that lives in the zone of silence named Feast. He's a giant panda.
What's happening in this comic, dude?
Yeah, that was a very cut and dry thing I just said. I can imagine for you guys, like, you have no context to what I'm talking about. So it's like, yeah, so Sonic's in the dream of the king who's being attacked by the king's former warlord and is also being attacked by a demigod. Like, to me, this is all fucking normal. Like, I'm living this, like, this is my life now. To you guys, I'm dragging you into the madness.
To me, my brain just finally made the connection. This is Sonic the Hedgehog.
This is Sonic the Hedgehog!
I've been playing Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Shadow the Hedgehog, all these Sonic games my whole life. This is also Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the same character,
my mind for a second.
Same franchise. We're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog right now. And you're telling me this demigod panda laser-eyed Sonic in the back in an alternate dimension.
Well, in a dream state, I should say.
In a dream alternate dimension, a demigod panda laser-eyed Sonic.
But right at that moment, both Kodos and Feist just fade away. And Sonic just explains to the king, it's just like, listen, you're in a dream, you're experiencing a nightmare, and he catches him up on everything that's happened since he was thrown into the zone of silence. Like, Robotnik took over Robotropolis, we all now live in Knothole, we're trying to just save the day here from Robotnik. And before he can explain more, Sonic is pushed out and back into the real world, and they're seeing signs of activity from the king's brain, which basically means it worked. The king is conscious again. And that's the end of Sonic number 43.
What a journey.
And we're still not done. We're getting smack right into Sonic number 44, which kind of steers away from what the story is, but honestly, this is actually my favorite one so far that we're covering, just because some certain characters show up, and you'll know who. You'll know who.
Yup, Shadow the Hedgehog in this comic from 1997. Shadow's just like, it's me, Shadow the Hedgehog. Holy shit!
Shadow
time-traveling Shadow the Hedgehog. What?
Oh, I'm not going to be introduced until a game in 2001, but I wanted to come here anyway. Holy shit, dude. Alright, let's get started. I'm excited now.
So, written by Ken Penders, art by Manny Galan. We are immediately introduced to the scene of Rotor showing Sonic a gun.
Yup, alright, yeah. Shadow is coming. That's like a signal.
And it's literally just like a tiny little pistol that immediately transforms into what I have in my notes as a, quote, super fuck you gun. I'm gonna just, give me a second. I'm gonna try to find it, because it is just goddamn ridiculous. In fact, it's even called the Party Hardy Quadra Sonic Rock and Roller.
Man, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I'm a simple man. Sonic Blast for the Sega Master System from Brazil. I get this. I understand this. I don't get what the fuck this... Party Hardy Sonic... What the fuck? What? What are you even saying anymore?
It's in the chat now, boys.
What the fuck? Man.
What in the frick? How can he even hold that up?
What will he do with such a weapon? Shoot Robotnik?
I mean, I hope so. I don't know what the fuck else he'll do with that shit.
Yo, he gotta be strong as frick, though. He's holding that up just like, what the frick?
It is. Good lord. So, by the way, that was just for that. That gun is never seen again, by the way.
Okay, I guess he's not doing shit with it then.
So, they break for lunch. only for an alarm to go off, and they find some energy disturbances on the floating island. They go to the floating island only to see it shaking, with Knuckles down into the chamber to find... He goes in to find our homeboy, Anti-Sonic, trying to steal the Chaos Emeralds. Which, Jinjo, if you don't know, that's Scourge.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember now. He was called Anti-Sonic originally,
Yeah.
That's right. Is this still before he was green? It was just Sonic with a jacket?
Yep.
Badass.
So, Knuckles tries to fight him off. And by the way, Knuckles in this canon is actually a little bit more smarter than his game counterpart. So he sees, like, Anti-Sonic and realizes, like, that's not, like, the Sonic that he knows. Because, let's be honest, if it was Game Knuckles, he would immediately assume that's Sonic in a shitty disguise.
Sonic, what the hell? Why are you doing this, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh. Literally everyone in Sonic Adventure 2 does that, so...
It's messed up.
Messed up.
Knuckles is then attacked by someone unseen. We don't really know who it is for sure, but we see he has the body of an echidna. We then later realize it's actually Anti-Knuckles, who Anti-Sonic brought along with him. And so that you guys know, I'm going to show you guys his character design.
Yo, that's like hipster painter Knuckles. That's fucking crazy.
That is... He speaks in a very stereotypical Irish accent, and also wears that beret, yeah.
That's like classical painter Knuckles.
Yeah. And also in that image you're looking at, he doesn't have like a weird mustache. That's just a shadow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just...
Oh, I thought it was a mustache.
I thought it was a mustache.
Yeah, I only clarify that because when I was doing the notes and reading the comic, my sister walked in on me reading it, and she was like, why the fuck does Knuckles have a mustache? So I just thought, maybe I guess I need to clarify.
Yeah, because I also thought that was a mustache.
It's kind of a weird shadow placement.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So Knuckles is knocked out. The portal that the two of them close in was closing pretty fast, so the two of them had to retreat. The Freedom Fighters find Knuckles, and he explains the situation, to which Sonic realizes, like, oh, it's that motherfucker, and he wanted to fuck with you? Nah, let's go take this guy out. So they go down the cosmic interstate to Anti-Mobius. I feel like I should have clarified for that. They have a very easy way of going into parallel universes.
I see.
Yeah, it's a little strange, to be perfectly honest.
I'm learning to accept it.
You're learning, yeah. Very important lesson that you got to get out of this show. If I'm telling you something insane, just learn to accept it. Because if you're going to seek answers, you might not like them.
There might not even be answers.
Well, I'll tell you this much. These comics have the most consistent canon of Sonic the Hedgehog, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, most Sonic games are just, like, contained stories. They don't usually make sense on their own. I mean, they don't usually, like, connect to each other at all.
But I will tell you this, though. While they're going down Anti-Mobius, Knuckles and Sally are just kind of like reminiscing on the good old days. Something that wasn't properly explained, and we're getting pieces of it here. Basically, the King and Sally spent summers on the floating island back when they were kids. So Knuckles was like just learning to like know what it is to be the guardian of the floating island. And Knuckles' dad, who was the previous guardian, normally does not allow outsiders, but he gave an exception for the king. That's all the context that you need to know for this. They eventually land on Anti-Mobius, and right as they get off, they're quickly attacked by Anti-Sonic and Anti-Knuckles. We get some quick fight scenes. Anti-Sonic and Sonic like run off to basically race each other. And Anti-Knuckles is... he basically just says, like, look, I really hate to fight you like this, so I just won't.
All right. I'm gonna go do some oil paintings, not Anti-Knuckles. I'll see you later, bro.
Say it in an Irish accent.
I'm going to go do some oil paintings, yeah? Is that Irish? That was kind of Irish-British. I am part Irish, but I can't do an Irish accent for the fucking life of me.
Oh man, I really hope that your ancestors don't haunt you for that, because
they're crying. They're eating potatoes and crying right now. They're like, no, our great grandson can't impersonate Anti-Knuckles. No.
You're a failure, bro.
For real,
I
God.
can't believe you, man.
God.
All the generations were down to you with an Irish accent, and you failed them all.
It was all destiny to do that anti-Knuckles impression, but it just ended up being dog shit.
I mean, look, to hit it a little too close to home, you and Knuckles share in that respect.
What, can he not also do it? Or no, he's also a disappointment to his ancestors, or?
His ancestors seem to think so.
Damn!
That's a complicated story. We'll get to that, though.
Yeah.
So, Anti-Knuckles explains that, for some reason, the Anti-Mobius's equivalent of Chaos Emeralds are, like, losing power. And his... How do I put it? His equivalent of the floating island is basically losing power. They then go to it, and they realize that what to Knuckles' floating island is Anti-Knuckles' sunken island. And they are literally on the ocean floor, only surrounded by a bubble of air, which is sustained by their Chaos Emeralds. It just kind of goes to show that, like, Anti-Mobius, everything in it is, like, flipped on its axis. And some writers take that more literally than others. Clearly, Ken Penders is one of them.
Is it, like, called Anti-Mobius, or is that just what the people of Mobius call it? So everything in this dimension is, like, named Anti-Blank. Like, that's their name. Like, do they... So, example, Anti-Sonic and Anti-Knuckles. Do they refer to each other as Sonic and Knuckles?
Yeah,
or are their names... Okay, I was gonna say, if they refer to each other as Anti-Sonic and Anti-Knuckles, I would accept it. But that is incredibly stupid. But I was kind of expecting it. But I'm also I'm impressed that they didn't do that.
Yeah. Honestly, like, when I say everything is flipped on this axis, I mean everything. Personality, character aspects, even history. That's something that will get explained way later on. But for the context of, like, Anti-Mobius, just as a concept, understand that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this whole, like, Anti-Mobius is legitimately my favorite aspect of these comics. The fact that these characters were not in the reboot devastated me.
I kind of wish some aspects of, like, Anti-Mobius would make their way into the games in some aspect. Like, Scourge, I know he's, like, Anti-Sonic, and Anti-Sonic becomes Scourge in later issues. I've always wanted Scourge to be in the games to some extent. He's cool as fuck, man.
Sadly, there are reasons why that cannot ever happen.
Well, now they split up from Archie, and Archie probably owns the rights to Scourge's identity. So,
not Archie.
Oh, it's Ken Penders? You're making that face. Yikes. Oh, yeah, that's never happening. That's never fucking happening.
Okay, actually, I should say this. Ken Penders recently said on Twitter that he is willing to sell some of his characters back to Sega. I assume he means the, like, Anti-Mobius characters. The problem is, I know for a fact, Sega would be dead in the fucking ground, out of business before they even consider working with Ken Penders again.
Yeah, no. He'd be incredibly lucky if they decide to buy it from him.
Oh, they'd be incredibly lucky if they just ever talk to him again.
Yeah, no, because he's fucking weird.
Oh, that's not the only reason.
I'd kill for Scourge to be in... Well, yeah, he sued them as well, but I'd kill for Scourge to be in a Sonic game. Murder.
Me too. Hell, if by some miracle they can rework the concept into IDW comics, I'll take it.
For real, man. That'd be cool as fuck.
So, back to the comic at hand. Anti-Knuckles then takes the Freedom Fighters to his island, the sunken island as previously mentioned, with oxygen seeping out of the air bubble that sustains it. They're then taken to the main city, Atlantopolis, which, for the record, the city that's on the floating island is called Echidnopolis. So they go down to a containment chamber and find Robotnik, like Robotnik Prime, trying to take the Anti-Mobius Chaos Emeralds for a portal that can rip through dimensions. Anti-Sonic sees all this and is like, yo, homeboy, what the fuck? This isn't part of the plan. After SWATbots try to throw him out into the ocean and drown him. Right after Sonic and the boys save Anti-Sonic, they all kind of gang up on him and is like, hey man, what do you mean that wasn't part of the plan? To which Anti-Sonic goes like, well, you see what had happened was... And he runs away.
Damn.
Robotnik already has a portal set up. A portal to the Chaos Emerald Chamber on the floating island is open up. And they bait Robotnik to shoot into it. And the beam bounces off the Chaos Emerald that was in the chamber, redirects it back to Robotnik, hits him, and he dissipates. He dissipates and is all that's left behind are several Chaos Emeralds. To which everyone freaks the fuck out, which also, by the way, this is not the first time this has happened to Robotnik. There has literally been one other instance where Robotnik was zapped and transported away in such a way that everyone in the vicinity thought he was killed.
Damn.
Yeah, these comics are a little extreme, man, I gotta say.
For real. Got me fucked up.
So, Anti-Knuckles collects the few Chaos Emeralds and says, listen, he's just been displaced, don't worry about it, he'll be fine, and takes the Freedom Fighters back up to the surface and sends them home. And that's the end of number 44. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, any story that Anti-Knuckles, or the anti-characters in general show up in, I genuinely enjoy. Even if the characters are not that great, and like Anti-Sonic in particular, like he's written kind of weak right now at least, but like I still enjoy the concept. I'm willing to look past it in this instance.
The concept is cool enough that it can carry any faults.
I mean, at least for me. My regular co-host Bailey, he doesn't care for the anti-characters right now, but hey, what can I do? We have our final comic to cover. Guys, can we get a round of applause? We've made it this far.
I'm almost free!
We're almost free! We are almost free! And, Jinjo, get that Sonic Blast cartridge out, because the comic we're covering is an adaptation of Sonic Blast!
Yo! Fucking go! My Brazilian copy of Sonic Blast! Yo! Fucking go! Yo!
I unfortunately have to take that back because it's actually an adaptation of Sonic 3D Blast.
I want a few people that really, really like Sonic 3D Blast. I'm gonna drop a hot take on your podcast right now.
Go ahead.
I'm not a big fan of the classic Sonic games. I'm much more of a 3D kind of Sonic kind of guy. My favorite classic Sonic game, like the one I enjoy the most, I don't think it's the best game, but the one I personally enjoy the most is Flicky's Island 3D Blast. That's my favorite classic Sonic game. Even though I know, like, 3 and stuff is, like, a better game, design-wise, I like Flicky's Island better. I can't explain why. I don't know why. I just really like that game.
You know, it's funny you bring that up. I remember playing that as a child, and every time I played it, I always got, like, extreme vertigo. Like, to the point where I was, like, sick in bed, and it took hours for me to recover. I don't know why. It's really not that bad of a game.
Can you play it nowadays?
I should try. I haven't ever tried.
It's not that bad. The Saturn version's pretty good.
Unfortunately, I only have access to the Genesis version, but, you know, we can figure it out.
Genesis version's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So, the reason why I introduced it as Sonic Blast was just because the comic itself is just called Sonic Blast Special. I guess for some reason they just decided to drop the 3D part of it. Maybe it would be a weird advertising thing. I don't know. The first aspect was written by Mike Gallagher, art by Art Mawini. We open up with Robotnik communicating with Snively. And Snively, in a little bit of a bitch move on his part, deliberately redirects the call, or shares the call, with the Freedom Fighters. Like, and here's the thing, Snively's not like a spy for the Freedom Fighters or anything, he just hates Robotnik. So Snively gives them the info, and the Freedom Fighters find out that Robotnik is on an island offshore of the continent, to which, what is called Flicky Island, where he believes a Chaos Emerald is. Robotnik landing immediately captures some Flickies and just throws them into a roboticizer, and ends up roboticizing the entire island. Like what? He really tries to go for roboticizing the planet, but I guess he'll have to stay put with this one island for now. Sonic and Tails show up right as the entire island is being roboticized. Tails tries to fly up over the island for recon, but he's immediately attacked by Robo Flickies. And Tails is downed, actually. They grab him by the tail and he just plummets into the ocean. However, they realize that the ocean's salt water is a natural counter agent for the Flickies, for the Robo Flickies, and in contact with salt water, they are de-roboticized. It's, I don't know, there's some literary term for something that's extremely convenient.
It's not, I don't think it's a Deus Ex Machina, but I don't know, maybe. I don't think so, though.
I think it's a little too small to be a Deus Ex Machina, but...
A Deus Ex Machina has to be, like, extremely convenient and just completely out of nowhere.
Yeah. So, like,
why doesn't Sonic just, like, bring a Super Soaker to this island?
They did, actually. They actually do have a Super Soaker.
Yo!
So they just
again.
They take out the Super Soakers and they just attack the Robo Flickies that are flying around them. While Sonic heads onto the island. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So Sonic goes onto the island with Rotor taking out the saltwater and the water gun, and Rotor, for whatever reason, is screaming Semper Fidelis, which basically is just a motto for the U.S. Army.
What?
I don't know, man. Mike Gallagher likes to make really bizarre references. In the last comic, like, he wrote the comic where Sonic got roboticized and had Bunny making a lot of inappropriate references to the Confederacy.
What? Man, this shit really is crazy, dude.
For real.
So, with that being said, so Sonic seats out Robotnik on the island. Robotnik finds the magic ring, like in the game, where the Flickies come out of. And just as he's about to jump in there, Sonic just attacks him right in the gut. They tussle a little bit. Robotnik shock grasps him and leaves him for dead and jumps into the ring. Sonic follows, and in like a 2-page spread of art, basically is like detailing a zone from the game. Like, I think it's Green Grove, I think it's called, where Sonic is just fighting a bunch of bosses. It's I can't believe I forgot to mention this to you guys. Whenever they adapt a game, the Archie comic writing team basically has no communication with Sega whatsoever. So whenever they're told to like adapt a game, they're basically left to dry and say like, hey, we have a game that we want sold, adapt it so we can sell a little bit more, have free advertising. Writing team says, yeah, all right, sure. Can we get some like material so we know what we're working with? No.
What? So, like, what was the extent they had to work with? Like, just a plot synopsis and that's it?
No, not even. This is jumping ahead a little bit, and I think I said this in a previous episode, but when they were doing the adaptation for Sonic Adventure, again, no communication from Sega, to the point where the team had to import a Japanese Dreamcast and a copy of the game just so they could get the story.
Damn.
Like,
what the fuck? What does Sega expect from them?
Sega really just saw the Archie comics just as an afterthought, which is a very bizarre thing to say considering what we're going to get into next episode, because there's a little bit of drama behind the scenes going on by that point. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Robotnik traps Sonic and finds the Chaos Emerald embedded in a Flicky statue, only for it to come alive right after Robotnik takes out the Chaos Emerald in a very Indiana Jones style. Robotnik and Sonic escape the zone, but Robotnik's arm is kind of caught in the portal due to the fact that he refuses to let go of the Chaos Emerald. A Flicky bites Robotnik's hand and lets the emerald go, and ends up finding his entire Flicky robot army and roboticizer gone. So, in a fit of rage, just go in the standard, I hate that hedgehog and all that, Sonic, Tails, and Rotor basically maroon Robotnik and tell him to fuck off as they go away in their sub. Not the first time where Robotnik is marooned, now that I think about it. There's a lot of story beats recovering now that I think about it. This is very weird.
I don't even know what to comment on anymore, man. This shit's just...
This is whack. So...
Whack implies bad. This isn't bad, it's just...
A lot.
It's Archie Sonic. There's no way to describe it. That's just how it is.
We have 2 more stories that come from a different pair of writers. This guy's name is Angelo De Cassari, so you guys know. He's very much like Mike Gallagher in his tone and writing. And I say that because the first story that he wrote was basically just the freedom fighters doing an awards ceremony for laughs. Like, it's a bunch of nothing. This is definitely one of the stories that was like left on the back burner that Archie just wanted to use and get rid of. So they had the free space and they just used it. The second story that Dekasari wrote, again, another similar like story that was on the back burner, in which Robotnik and Snively are disguising themselves as rabbits and are stalking Bunny. Very normal thing to do. They only just want to find Knothole, and they have a tracking device implanted on her, but it like gets loose and a gopher like swallows it. So Robotnik is digging in this gopher hole trying to find what he thinks is Knothole. And that's it. That's the end of Sonic Blast, and that's all the comics I got for you guys. Like, again, round of applause. You guys made it.
I'm stretching, but you can't see this if you're not a patron, so that's that noise.
So, boys, tell me, what did you think about all this? Did you guys have fun? I had fun.
I had fun, but I feel like I have more knowledge than I should. Like I've obtained forbidden knowledge.
How do you think I fucking feel? I'm the one reading all these goddamn comics.
You read all this, dude.
You're like the god of all
this far, man.
Listen, I have committed myself to the bit as the Sonic guy, and I'm not quitting.
I thought I was the Sonic guy before I met you, man. I was like, man, I know so much about Sonic. I am the Sonic guy. But now, no.
No,
you're the Sonic guy. You win. You win.
You are a fledgling.
I play the games. I play the games. This Sonic games I haven't even finished, which makes me not the Sonic guy definitively. I've never finished Unleashed or like Lost World or 06. So I'm less of the Sonic guy than even I think, honestly. But you're the Sonic guy.
And let me tell you, if you're trying to get a friend of yours into the comics, or into Sonic in general, do not start with this because you'll be put in an institution.
Yeah, no. If I was trying to get a friend into Sonic, I'd probably start with like, I don't know,
like a
Mania.
Sonic Mania is that's a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mania. Mania's really good.
Mania
really
Generations, one of the Sonic games that's like definitively, unarguably a well-designed and good game. As much as I love Adventures 1 and 2, I don't think I'd start someone on Adventures 1 and 2.
Do people like Colors? That's one of the only ones I haven't played.
I believe people like Colors. I haven't played Colors all that much either. I have so many Sonic games I've never played. Good Sonic games. I need to like...
Get on that, man.
I need to get on that, man. I mean, I replay through Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 like every fucking like 4 times a year. I need to like actually just play other Sonic games.
Well, I hope this podcast and learning about these comics will inspire you to do so, my friend.
Gotta dive even deeper into my love for Sonic, for real.
That's it.
It was a lot of fun.
That's it. So, you guys got anything you want to plug before we sign off?
Thebroskis.com.
Yeah, that's where you can find all our stuff.
Thanks for having us on. It was a lot of fun.
That's right. And as usual... So don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our brand new Patreon, where you can, for as low as $2 a month, get these episodes early. And if you want to splurge for $15, you get to see our beautiful faces and this green screen behind me. Come on, think of the memes you're missing out on.
For real, man, you could put him anywhere.
That's a lot of power, man.
That is a lot of fucking
Too much power for one man.
And on that note, thanks for listening, watching, whatever you're doing, to this episode of the Archie Sonic Digest. And we'll see you next time for a very big comic, the big issue 50, dubbed Endgame. And we'll see you then. Thanks for watching, guys.